Hello peeps. So welcome to Kick the Shit Out of Social Anxiety. And today we're kicking the shit out of triggers. So what are triggers? Well, it's basically the shit. I mean, it's the same thing in a sense, but it's those limiting beliefs, those doubts, those fears, more to the point, the triggers that are almost like leeches all over us. You know, it's like Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body, and they're illusionary, but just as real as if they were real, if in that sense, that they feel like they're taking over. It can cause a lot of diseases and all sorts of things because a lot of the time we're not aware of them. They just happen, and we think that we are at the mercy of our triggers. And what we want to do is constantly clean and clear, clean and clear. That's what I'm about, right? That's what these videos are all about. Is constantly clearing and clearing this shit so that we can be comfortable in our own skins, that so we can be authentic. We can be the diamond, right? So I didn't put my diamond on here, but never mind. Imagine a diamond right there. Anyway, so have you ever noticed when somebody tends to be a bit angry, that they're always finding things to be angry about? You know, that they seem to be in a constant battle in their entire lives, you know? And someone who's upset, they're constantly getting things to be upset about. I know that I used to be very, very sensitive. It was ridiculous. It's like my whole body was one big sore. I was sensitive to everything, you know? Took everything personally. And as a consequence, I was constantly finding things to take personally. You know, that's it. It's like, have you ever noticed that a person's a victim? Everything happens to them, you know? It's never their fault. It's always that somebody or something or something's happening in their lives. That's the reason why they are the way they are. And it's over-exaggerated. We've all got that to some degree. But they're over-exaggerated. And as a consequence, more and more things seem to happen to those people. Now, have you ever noticed those annoying people, which is who I am now? I'm annoying. But I'm annoying because I'm one of those people who seems to be, everything seems to go their way with not that much effort. You know, I mean, obviously it takes effort, but there's a lot behind the scenes, but not that much effort. It seems like everything works out. When my wife and I go to a restaurant, it always seems to be a good restaurant. We get phenomenal service. Then somebody else goes to the same restaurant and they say, oh my God, it was terrible. They treated us horribly. Well, wherever you are, there you go. You see, we create our reality. You've heard that many, many times. I know, but it's true. And, you know, I'm going to give you a little bit of a controversy here, and I'm going to maybe upset you a little bit, perhaps, because I'm going to contradict myself. There was a great quote, and I'll read them. Go to my little book here. Mark Twain. Yeah, he was around a while ago. He said, I've lived through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. Now think about that. Lived through some terrible things in my life. Some, not all, of things actually happened. Well, we experience what we're putting out into the world. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have quote unquote traumas. And the reason I say quote unquote is not because I'm doubting them, is because they're experiential, so it's relative to the person. We can't say that's a trauma, that's not a trauma, because if that person felt and experienced it as a trauma, it is a trauma. And other people experience atrocities, but don't experience them as traumas. So it is a quote unquote relative to the person, that word trauma. And what happens is we experience them, we actually catastrophize, and I'm generalizing of course, but we catastrophize the future. I know full well, if you are suffering from anxiety, you are definitely catastrophizing the future, because that's why it's happening. You've got this sort of thought in your mind of what's going to happen, and as a consequence you're fearing that over and 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 over again. That's like PTSD. It's the opposite. It's somebody goes through a traumatic experience and then it gets lodged into their amygdala and they re-experience it over and over and over and over again. It's horrific even thinking about it, but it's because the brain, in its petrified, scared, fight or flight state, thinks it's locked it in so that you will remember it, so that you'll do something about it. Look, we don't need to remind ourselves not to walk in front of a bus, because that will hurt. Yeah, we don't need to remind ourselves of traumas of the past. Now here's the thing is, this is where I'm going to upset you. You must give up the belief, the trigger of victimhood. You absolutely must give up the feeling of victimhood. I know it's difficult. I know it's tricky because look, they were wrong. I was right. Or that happened. That really happened. I'm never doubting anything. I don't know what you've been through. And even if I went through the same things, I would have my experience of it and you would have your experience of it. So I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're going to go through, and I don't know what you're going through now. But I do know absolutely that you must give up this victimhood. Holding on to it. Listen, I was the ultimate victim. All the things that happened to me, that's why I am the way I am. No, it's not. I apologize, but I'm putting it to you. You are responsible for this. I can tell you, other people can tell you, but nobody can change you but you. You are responsible. You must give up the victimhood from now. Now here's where I contradict myself. You are responsible for giving up that victimhood. Not anybody else. Not anybody who's done anything to you. But it is not your fault that up until this point, you've been in victimhood. What do I mean by that? Hear the words responsibility and fault. They're different things. You see, the fault lies in the hypnosis, societal hypnosis. It is absolutely everywhere. It would blow your mind of how massive I'm talking about this hypnosis. It is absolutely everywhere. It's indoctrinated in you. And here's where I stumble a little bit because I don't want to go too far into this. Look, just take it from me. You are being hypnotized societally, social media, everywhere you turn, it is getting you to feel that victimhood. Why? Because you will feel fear. Why is that powerful? Because you can control people in fear. You cannot control people who are comfortable in their own skin. That's as far as I'm going. But what I'm going to say is, I do not want to sell you any get rich quick scheme or get healthy quick scheme or get out of anxiety quick scheme. You've noticed what I'm showing you is how you can take control. Now, yes, medication or something like that will get you out of anxiety, but it won't prevent you from having anxiety unless it's ridiculous medication where you're just a zombie. And what kind of life is that? So people are not, again, I'm not going too far. I'm going to say I've gone too far already. The powers that be do not have your interests at heart. They do not have the greater good interests at heart. They have one thing that they're focused on, and that's profit. I don't want you to sell you a get rich quick scheme. I want you to be able to create your life, how you want your life, how you should have your life. Not my life, because you might like my life. I've got a great life, I must say, but it won't necessarily suit you. And Even if you did my life, you'd still have to have it in your own way. You see, you need to create your life. That's why you're not at fault for all the stuff that has created your victimhood up to now. But now it is your responsibility to let that shit go. Literally, let that shit go. So that we can move forward and you can start creating the life you want. Hey, listen. This is a big statement. The thoughts, I'll say almost, but I could almost say every thought that you have, they're not your thoughts. They're not your thoughts. They've been indoctrinated in you. So how do we get out of this? How do we become the creator of our own reality? Well, we need to stop thinking these thoughts, right? But how do you not think? Well, you don't not think because that's impossible. It's literally impossible. Even the ultimate gurus, the great meditating experts, they don't not think. They have a heck of a lot less than you or I'm sure, absolutely. But they still have thinking going on. If you're alive, you're thinking. They still have thoughts going on. But they don't attach to them. They don't associate with them. So the thoughts are just like anything. You hear there's a voice in the background. If you don't notice it, it doesn't really have any relevance to you. As soon as you attach to it, now it's a part of your life. If you don't attach to these thoughts, they have no power over you. There's a great quote, again, going into my little book here, by Rupert Spira. Highly, highly recommend his books. If you see him on YouTube, absolutely phenomenal. He teaches non-duality. It's like Advaita, Vedanta. It's yoga, but in terms of the philosophy of yoga. And his quote is, "See that thoughts and feelings are like a train that enters a station and then leaves. Be like the station, not like a passenger." And good old Rupert Spira, that's so deep. So, be like the station. Well, what does that mean? Well, your thoughts are the trains. Imagine a huge train station. I don't know where you are, but imagine the biggest train station you've ever seen. There's masses and masses of stations and trains and so on, right? And every train is coming and going. It's just non-stop. People are getting on trains left, right, and center. There's all sorts going on. And as a passenger, if you get onto the train, if you get on the wrong train, well, what choice have you got? The train's taking you. You're not taking the train. Well, these are our thoughts. But you see, as a station, those trains come and go. But they have no, in a sense, relevance to the station until the station, metaphorically, becomes the passenger and chooses the thoughts, the trains that it wants to, and leaves all the rest behind. When you become the station, you become, like I've been saying many times, in a meditative state. And you only connect to the things that serve you, and you let go of the things that don't. All of these triggers, for instance. The triggers have power because we get on that train and we ride it to hell and back, right? Sometimes. But if we don't get on that train, we don't associate with that trigger, the trigger has no power, and eventually that trigger will just let go. And it really will. This is the power of letting go of that shit. So I got that quote from Rupert Spira, actually from, although he's written many phenomenal books, I actually got it from the book, The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Phenomenal book, and I'm going to give you the crux of this book that, in my opinion, is life-changing, because the greatest secret comes from The Secret. You remember the Law of Attraction book, The Secret? Well, actually, it was the film first and then became a book. But this actually has people like Rupert Spira in it. And this is about creating the world that you want. And this is where we want to go. I'm hoping, reason why you're watching this. So we're going to go into a nice meditative state, and then I'm just going to go through this exercise from the book. And it's very, very simple and amazingly life-changing. No big deal, right? Yes. So find your comfortable place. You can stand, you can sit, you can lie down if you want, as long as you don't go to sleep. And breathe in through your nose. Close your eyes if you wish. Breathe out through your nose. Just get that rhythm of breathing. That rhythm of breathing that works for you. Always remember, it's about you. Find your balance. Find your rhythm of breathing. Find your way of thinking. That's it. And as you breathe in, just hold at the top for a few seconds, like literally 1 or 2 seconds. As you breathe out, let go, and let go of any tension, any dis-ease in the body. It doesn't matter whether you're sitting, lying down, or standing. Feel that relaxation, that letting go. And this is the state we want to live in as much as possible. That's it. Keep that breathing going. And if you can, just place your hands on your heart. If that's not feasible wherever you are, just imagine having your hands on your heart. And you breathe in, you hold. Breathing into the heart, feel that breath into the heart. And as you let that breath go, let that heart breath go to every cell in your body. Every cell. Remember, when you're upset, your hair is upset. When you're feeling amazing, feeling on top of the world, your toenails are feeling on top of the world. And now connect to the highest power of all, universal energy. Reach up 400, 500 feet into the air. See that light and bring it down through the crown of the head, through the entire body, filling your entire body, filling your heart with pure universal energy. And as you breathe out, let that go through your entire body and filling your aura, your energetic field around you. You could say your comfort zone. Your energetic field around you, it fills with this universal energy, filling your entire world with this beautiful energy. And let it go down into the center of the earth, and it mixes with the love, warmth, and energy from the center of the earth, and it bounces back up through your system. So you've got the universal energy coming down and the central earth energy coming up. So you're grounded and yet spiritual. That's it. Keep breathing through the nose, through into the heart, filling every area of your system. And now think of a situation, a very simple situation. Don't go for anything big or anything like that. Just think of something that niggles you, or something that maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or, something like that. Somebody gave you the wrong change. The cashier gave you the wrong change, something like that. And notice the feelings. But again, take away the judgment. Just notice the feelings. That's the key. Let go of that judgment. Just notice the feelings in the body. And welcome those feelings. So remember, when you take away the judgment, it's just a feeling. Welcome those feelings. And now be aware. Start as you're noticing the feelings. Be aware of the feelings. Be aware of the self. That's it. And now stay in that awareness. That's it. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes second nature. And what you'll find is most problems start to disappear. And the ones that need your attention, you'll give them attention. The ones that don't, you won't. That's it. So, being aware of your feelings, being aware of that amazing energy coming through you. Let that continue throughout the day. If you want to just soften your eyes, so you're looking out with soft eyes. Everything's bringing you back to that parasympathetic, that rest and digest system. That's it. And just do this for the rest of your life. I really wish the best for you. I honestly do. I'm hoping that comes across. I'm pretty much knowing that it comes across. I want the best for you. Keep in touch. Let me know how it's going. Any questions, please fire them at me. Please, I love to hear your questions because I will address them, I promise you. Take care. Meow.